Hey, Kelsey, thank you so much. Well, it does take a special person to explore pitch black caves 100 meters underwater beneath the Earth's surface. But for our next guest, that's just a day's work. Kenny Broad is a diver and environmental anthropologist. His work has him plunging into subaquatic caves in Cuba, reporting on cocaine trafficking in Jamaica, and chasing venomous snakes across Vietnam. That sounds like fun. And he still found time to pick up National Geographic's Explorer of the Year award in 2011. And he's here to tell us all about his worldly adventures. Kenny Broad joins us here in the Your Morning studio. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, good morning.
I've already been in awe of the images around us this morning, which are the coolest things I've ever seen. Let's go back all the way to the origin story, because it always fascinates me. This is what you're doing now. How do you even get exposed or start in this industry as a young person?
I thought jumping into a small, muddy little hole would be a good way to meet girls.
You're kidding.
It didn't work out. No. But no, actually, I grew up in South Florida, and we're surrounded by water. In fact, people don't realize that there's water in the ocean. There's water coming from sort of the swamps, the Everglades. But we actually have water bubbling up from underneath, and that's where underwater caves are. And it's where most of the world's actually drinking water that's not stuck in ice, is beneath our feet. And once you found out we could actually go in there, and you're on another planet, as you can tell from your beautiful picture.
Clearly. What do you find most fascinating in those depths for you?
I think if I have to give you the rational answer that sort of pays the bills, you can go into a place like this, and the stalagmites, the formations that grow from the bottom, those actually are telling us what the climate was like hundreds of thousands of years ago. So scientists, the geochemists, they can reconstruct the climate, and then we can understand before there was human influence what was going on, so we can understand global warming. And there's creatures, extremophile forms of life, that only live in caves, but it's similar chemistry that we think might be going on in other planets. Ooh. Early forms of life, it's one-stop shopping. But it's more the feeling of being, you're away from everything. You're away from your cell phones. You're concentrating for once. So
there's a lot to be learned under there that we can literally apply to the rest of our environmental research and beyond. I want to talk about 100 meters underwater, which sounds frightening to somebody like me. You're thinking claustrophobia, anything can go wrong. So I want to talk about how do you manage the potential dangers under there and balance that with clearly your appetite for this kind of adventure.
You sort of go incrementally as you learn to dive, just like I imagine on TV. You don't just show up on the set of a big production like this.
I totally just woke up like this, Kenny. I don't know about you, but.
So I'm more nervous here than I am when I'm diving in 100 meters.
No, you're not.
It is, because everything's calm and you practice, and you're better off practicing meditating than you are lifting weights for a task like that. So it's really just risk management, and you're just taking care of what might go wrong, and you think through it in your head ahead of time, and you plan for it.
Okay, I want to talk about something called blue holes in the Bahamas. This has been a real passion of yours. First of all, tell our viewers, what is this, and what is to be learned from studying blue holes?
So blue holes are another word in Mexico, cenotes, in sinkholes, we often call them in North America. But they're basically a collapse of a roof that gives you a window down into the underworld. And you can that's just a few hundred meters from the surface in a blue hole. Wow. And you can just see you've entered the inner space of our planet. And that's our drinking water. Yes, what can you find besides all the science that tells us about really early life and life in outer space and climate? I'm swimming through places where you'll see someone's pipe coming through, and that's going the direct water to their well or to their house.
You're kidding.
No, and it's out of sight, out of mind, so we tend not to protect what we don't see. So bringing back pictures with the photographers I work with and bringing back water samples, we can start to understand how to better take care of our water.
My father has a great saying, and he says, the son of a fish has to learn how to swim. You've got two sons.
I got two little boys.
Are they into this? Do they think what Dad does for a living is cool?
So far, I'm still barely in the cool category, because they're not 9 and 13 years old. I'm not competing with other stuff.
Hey, the son of a fish is swimming here.
Oh.
They're starting. They're starting.
Yeah, those are my boys. Yeah, they like to free dive. They were actually scuba diving when I think they were 4 or 5 years old, but we love spending time in the water, the whole family, my wife also. So it's good. You can't argue when you're underwater.
All of a sudden, everyone's like, that's a great parenting
Yeah,
tip.
there we go.
There it is.
It's therapy.
Giving us the tip of the stalagmite. Does that analogy work at this, in this juncture right now, Kenny?
It's just, I'd say as long as you don't think about it too hard.
Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Kenny.
All right.
Giving us a little taste of the underworld. This has been super cool, to say the least. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
So if you are in the Toronto area, Kenny is speaking at Roy Thompson Hall tonight. Check out our website for ticket information. It's at yourmorning.ca. These pictures and so much more.